hello and welcome back to SnowRunner, y'all. And in this video, we have a variety of things to talk about. However, one of the major things that I wanted to visit, or rather revisit, I don't know if we're initially visiting it or if we're just revisiting it in this video, but regardless, I have not visited, or rather revisited, don't know how many times I'm going to say those two words, but the Outback Overlanding map. Now, the Outback Overlanding map, while it is a really, really cool map and setting in its own right, it also does a really good job of relaying a lot of the experiences that you can kind of gauge whether or not you're going to enjoy expeditions when it releases later this spring. And obviously it's going to be far from a one-to-one comparison. The physics in expeditions are definitely going to feel a little bit different among obviously other gameplay elements and dynamics and the way the missions are structured. But the Outback Overlanding map, the original Outback Overlanding in SnowRunner, will definitely give you a little bit of like, I guess the best way for me to word it is if you like this gameplay style, you will probably really enjoy expeditions. And another reason I wanted to revisit this map is honestly because it's just such an incredibly well done map in the first place. It's one of those maps where you can just drop into it, and no matter whether you've been on this map before or not, you're still gonna really enjoy yourself. And I think that the fact that it requires zero knowledge of the layout of the map or where any of the trails go, you can just jump in and enjoy yourself no matter what. And so there's very little barrier to enjoyment for this map, and I think that that it goes a long way. It goes a really long way to making this map so incredibly enjoyable. And also, to be honest, it's one of those maps where the difficulty is not so high that you get into this odd back and forth where you feel like you have to bring like a super over-the-top vehicle, and so then your choices become limited and you can't maybe use the vehicle that you want to use. Now, obviously in this video, I've gone way over the top with this, F450 dually on like 42-inch tires, which is totally unnecessary, obviously. But at the same time, you can still use it if you want to, and there's nothing that's going to necessarily punish you for using it unless you, I don't know, opt for a line that a truck this big isn't going to like in the first place. And this map is also incredible to use in multiplayer with friends, but that's such a sore subject for a lot of SnowRunner players, especially on Xbox. However, issues aside, if you can get this map to actually work for you in multiplayer with a group of your friends, it is an incredible experience, and I definitely recommend having that experience because honestly, it's just one of the best ones you can have that doesn't really have all that many barriers, nor does it have a lot of frustrations. It's literally just a kick back, relax, and enjoy off-roading type of experience. And I do, of course, want to talk about the mod that I'm using in this video, which, if y'all are not aware of this mod at this point, I don't know, I feel like most of you probably are. However, if you're not, I'll go ahead and give y'all a little bit of a refresher. So essentially what this truck is it's two mods. Both are essentially just, one is the truck itself, and then the other is just all of the add-ons and upgrades for the truck. The truck mod itself is the Super HD 450, and then the mod pack is the Super HD 450 Max add-on pack. Now, there is something kind of hilarious though going on with this, because if you go on the trending page for like SnowRunner mods on mod.io, the Super HD 450, the truck mod itself, has less downloads and also has essentially less frequency of downloads than the add-on pack does. And I'm not quite sure why that is. I think there's probably just a lot of people that see the thumbnail for the add-on pack and then they think that the add-on pack is the truck, and then they download it. But I mean, as of right now, there's like, it's like 36,000 people have downloaded just the base truck itself, but like 41,000 people have downloaded the add-on pack. But the add-on pack, you can't use it, or at the very least, you can't use it without having the base truck downloaded already. So I'm not really sure where all of these add-on packs are going, because it seems like, honestly, it seems like a lot of people that have downloaded the add-on pack, well, not necessarily a lot of people, but a percentage of people that have downloaded the add-on pack have never gotten the chance to use it because they don't have the truck itself. So, public service announcement, download the main truck before you download the add-on pack, or just download them both at the same time. It's up to you. And speaking of the mod browser, I honestly don't know where all of the new downloads for the GGMS Money Trucks mod are coming from, because it still, to this day, is getting between 2, 3, 4, sometimes up to 5,000 new downloads every single day. And I just don't understand where that's necessarily coming from, because I don't think SnowRunner is at a point where it's gaining, 4,000 new players per day. I mean, obviously, I'm sure that there's a decent amount of people playing SnowRunner. I mean, I can literally check the Steam charts, honestly, right now. Let's see, what does SnowRunner have on the Steam charts? So if we look up SnowRunner, what is SnowRunner pulling? Okay, so as of the day of recording this, the 30-day average player base for SnowRunner on Steam is 4,300, which is honestly not bad. And that, of course, doesn't mention all of the players on all of the various consoles, which includes prior gen and current gen, and then also Switch players, as well as PC players on other platforms besides Steam, like Epic, for example. So I could totally see, I guess after having looked at those numbers, I could totally see there being 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 downloads a day on new downloads a day on the Money Trucks mod. And also, interestingly, looking at the Steam charts for SnowRunner, has actually gone up in player base on Steam, I believe about 7% over the past 30 days, which honestly is still it's still wild to me. It really, truly is wild to me, because there are still, to this day, a lot of people out there that will tell you that SnowRunner is a quote-unquote dead game. But it's still out there, it's still growing, and it's still got a lot of community engagement. Now, obviously, certain elements of SnowRunner have shifted around in terms of player focus, and I definitely don't think that it has the steam that it did in that first year, due to, I think, a lot of community mismanagement, but also, of course, the toxicity of some community members to other community members, especially within that first year. But obviously not only within that first year, but there was definitely a good portion of that first year that was just a lot of community members yelling at each other and trying to make one side of the community right and the other side wrong. And of course, a lot of undue, unnecessary name calling, like, oh, well, you use mods, so you're this, or you prefer American trucks over the European trucks, so you're this, or you're not a true fan of the series, or you're playing the game wrong. And I know that every game is going to, when it reaches a certain size, it's going to have those like toxic segments. But in that first year of SnowRunner, it got really bad. And there are honestly parts of the community that I don't really think ever fully recovered from that time period, which is kind of a shame, because It's such a cool game, and it's got such a cool community, but I think after the community segmented off, it was really hard for a lot of it to recover because large parts of the community were so polarized in different things that happened. But either way, before we get too far off track with any of that, I do want to return to the subject that this video was originally based on, which is why Outback Overlanding is such an incredible map and why I think you all need to go back and revisit it. And one of the biggest reasons being, there are so many more trucks that have come out between when this map released and originally was popular to, of course, now. And kind of what happens is some maps will get lost to time, and I really don't want this one to get lost to time because I think it's one of the absolute gems of the community. But if y'all enjoyed this video, let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comments. Hit that like button if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new, and I will see y'all next time. Figured we'd end it off on a delightful note like that.